Alright dudes, Incradiator Games here to teach you Unity, 3D, make your own games. Does that sound like a good deal? Now, I know there's lots of tutorials out there, but this is just how I learned it and how I make my games, no matter how bad they are. Maybe it'll work for you the same. So let's get started. Alright. Let's use an easy example to learn how to use Unity. And I think the best example is a Flappy Bird game. Simple, you learn a lot of stuff. So let's do it. Now here is the Unity editor. When you start up a new project, you get over here the Scene tab, the Game tab, Hierarchy, project, and the inspector. Now, this is a brand new project, so we'll start from scratch. Every project starts with your generic scene. It comes with this main camera up here, and this is the Scene tab, which is the 3D world that you're working in. Simple enough. This is the camera. This is what you see as the player. And that's down here too. So right now we're looking at a blue nothingness, which is just this color over here as the background for what the camera sees. We can change this color if we want. If you want white, black, blue, red, pink, yellow, it doesn't matter. But I like the default blue. Looks good. Okay, so let's get started. Now, what is a game made out of? Objects, game objects, that's all it is, and scripts that determine what they do. Alright, so let's get started. Go to game object, create other, something simple, cylinder. So, create a cylinder. It looks beautiful, right? However, it's placed in some odd dimensions. So this is the transform component within a game object. And it starts at some weird number. This is the position in 3D space. X, Y, and Z, that's the position. Rotation and scale, don't worry about that yet, just position for now. So I want to zeroize this, make it simpler. Always make it simple. Keep it simple, man. That's the #1 rule of life. So here's our cylinder. Now for Flappy Bird, we have just pipes, simple pipes. So, and it appeared here as a cylinder game object. So here you can copy and paste stuff, you can do stuff here. So let me just copy and paste it. So now I have a second cylinder that I can move up here. And your fingers should always be on Q, W, E, and R at all times. When you press the Q down over here, this little hand guy, the grabber, you get a push and pull the scene around and move stuff. When you last click, you can rotate. Last click and hold. Okay, so you press R for scaling. Oh, W is to move it. These 3 arrows appear and they correspond to the dimensions of 3D space. So this blue arrow is the Z-axis. Right now I'm moving it back and forth through the camera, and then the red is the X position, and you can see at the top right the numbers are changing. And finally the Y-axis, simple. So let's zeroize this again. Move this up. Let's make this look more like a pipe from the Mario Brothers series. So shrink this to make a little pipe head. And change the scale. Make the diameter a little bigger. So the diameters in 3D space would be the X and Z, since the Y, I just shrunk it, and it's 0.33 now. So let's make this diameter a little bigger than the other pipe. 1.2, 2, and now we have a perfect circle. And now it looks like a pipe. But now I have here 2 cylinders. Let me change the name of this. Bottom part of the pipe, and this the top part of the pipe. Sounds good. Alright, but now you see these blue and green lines. The blue is the mesh itself, and the green is a collider. That's what Unity uses for its physics. This green shell that wraps around the mesh. So here, when we shrunk the cylinder, it revealed that a cylinder is actually using a capsule collider, which is no good, because if the bird hits this green shell, it's game over and it's invisible. Makes a lot of users pretty mad. So let's get rid of these capsule colliders. Shift click, I got them both selected. Remove, last click, remove component. Add component, physics, mesh collider. And that's it. Now we have a mesh collider on it. It doesn't show green, but it's okay. It's there. And cylinder is selected automatically. Okay, but I don't want 2 items, 2 game objects here side by side. So I want to hide it. So I go to game object, create empty. And now I'm going to take these 2 game objects and drag it under game object. And now I've created what I call parents and children. This game object, which I shall call pipe, has 2 components, 2 game objects, bottom and the top. Now when I move the pipe itself, this parent of the 2 children, they both move together, which will prove to be very useful in our Unity journey. Now, the pipes are a lot longer in Pipe Dream. In Flappy Bird, sorry, Pipe Dream is the name of my Flappy Bird clone. So let's extend this length of the bottom pipe, of this pipe. Yeah, the bottom pipe. Make it as long as you need, as long as it covers up the whole level. There we go. Boom. Now in Flappy Bird, aren't there 2 pipes? You're correct. So let's copy and paste this. Now we have 2 pipes on top of each other. Let's grab this arrow, move it up, and now we go to the X rotation and flip it around 180 degrees. Simple, and it's all the way up there. So I'm going to grab this green arrow, which controls the Y direction, slide it down until we see it. Alright, looks good. That's it. We've created almost, we're halfway there, believe it or not. Well, not really. Alright, so now I have 2 pipes here again, so I'm going to do the same thing. Game object, create empty. Take the 2 pipes, put them under one. Now I'm going to rename these because they're no longer just pipes by themselves. So bottom pipe and top pipe. Game object, I'm going to rename this to pipe. Pipes. Alright, looks good. Now we have pipes. Very good. Okay, so now, what do we need? We need these pipes to, we need more than 1 pipe, and we also want them to move to the left. Typical Flappy Bird, style game. But let's color our pipes. I don't like this gray, ugly color. It's not clean. It's not. I don't like it. All right, I just don't like it. Material. You go to create material in the project view. This project section of Unity. Click material. Name it pipe, so it doesn't matter. Open up this hierarchical structure. We have parents and children galore. And we want to click and drag it onto one of the pipes which are the meshes themselves. Which are the bottom and tops of the pipes themselves. So I want to go on the game object I just applied that material to. Click on this white box, which is just the color it's on currently, default it to white. And I want to switch it to green using this little tool over here. Okay, so now I just set this this pipe material to green. Now I can click and drag it onto all of my meshes. It only works on meshes. Materials go on meshes. And this little component of the game object gets created. But Incradiator, why does it show light green here, yet dark down here? Aha! That's because the shader is called diffuse. You can change it to anything you want over here. I just use these. I don't know how to program my own. I'm not a genius, but you can do this unlit thing and poof, and it shows white. We don't want that. So diffuse is just dark. It's just unlit. So we go to game object, create other, point light. We grab our light. It's in some point in space. I have no idea where. So as usual, I'm going to 0 it. We always need that reference point. So there it is. It's in the middle of the pipe. So you wanna treat it like a sun. So you wanna put it in a place where everything on the map, since it's a simple game, everything will get illuminated. So just move it back, and play with it, increase this radius circle, and if you want to make it huge, that's fine. Just lower the intensity over here, and move it back. And it looks good. There we go. Boom. Point light. Alright, now pipes in in Flappy Bird move from left to right. So let's use this red arrow. Just move it all the way to the right. Okay. Now, how do we get it to move to the left? Well, there's lots of ways of doing that. The way I like to do things, velocity, use Unity's physics engine to do that stuff for you. So it just boils down to one line of code. Simple. So you go to add component on the main, on the parent, because we only need it once. This component, we go to add component, physics, rigid body. Now the rigid body is what gives game objects that physical life. It utilizes, that's when the Unity uses its physics engine. So it has mass, drag, angular drag, don't worry about that stuff. Just, it's where it says here, use gravity check, that's because, everything in the world, gravity applies to it, but we're not going to use that. So hit the checkbox over there, and now it's just flying. Now we'll change this mass to some large number because we'll need that later on. So don't worry about that. Alright, so now let's give our pipes life. Let's click here. You're going to create what? JavaScript. We call it pipe behavior. Boom. Grab it. Click and drag onto the pipe itself. So now here we have the script attached. It's the only way to run scripts. Only way to run scripts. Code, if you will. So you double click on this. Thing pops up. Now we have a new script. It's always going to start with this start and update function. Start runs after the script loads. Whatever's in here runs once, and whatever's in between these curly braces gets run every frame. We don't need that right now. So here we're going to access the rigid body variable component that we just added to the pipe. So the rigid body is autocomplete, brings it up, hit enter, dot velocity, dot x, because we want it to move from left to right, so we're dealing with the x plane.